Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels. So my goal here is to summarize, break down, as well as review the Last Airbender graphic novels. They are expensive. They're big, but they're expensive. And a lot of people had requested that I summarize them, detailed summaries, because they're expensive enough that and hard enough to find that a lot of people were worried that they would not get the opportunity to read them. So that's my goal here. The first video that I did was the first two graphic novels, The Promise and The Search. This time we're going to be talking about The Rift and Smoke and Shadow. This is going to also be kind of a mashup of videos because in my last video I planned on doing 3 graphic novels per video, but that was a lot, so I broke it up. So The Rift, I recorded my summary review discussion a couple of weeks ago, and now we're finally talking about Smoke and Shadow. So, spoiler-free, quick summary. The Rift focuses on Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Toph. They are at a celebration, and then one of Aang's previous avatar states comes and visits him, but she can't speak to him. She is a previous air nomad. In order to reconnect with her, he decides to go back to a sacred place that used to have a lot of traditions, and he's going to redo those ceremonies. This will help him to be able to reconnect with his previous avatar state and be able to hear her and hear the warning that she's giving him, and then they handle what she's warning him about. This is also focusing on Toph a lot because she has a traumatic past with her family, with how they used to try to control her and everything, and a lot of her PTSD is reactivated through what's going on here, so she is dealing with that, as well as there is a factory in this area that Toph has a direct connection with. Spoiler-free thoughts, I enjoyed this one. I really loved Toph specifically. Her strength is incredible in this, and not just her brute strength, but a lot of her inner strength really shines, and there's a lot of conflict between her and Aang and their different ideals of how to handle difficult situations, and I really loved seeing them kind of figure out how to deal with that. Overall, I gave it 3 stars because it was the least interesting graphic novel I've read so far. It was one that I enjoyed the whole way through, but by the time I got to the end, I was ready for the end, which is not how I usually feel about these. But I still really enjoyed it. I especially love it for what we got out of Toph, but Aang's side really wasn't that interesting to me. So next we have Smoke and Shadow, and this one, this is after they return from, I guess, spoilers from the first video if you haven't watched that one yet, but these are being summarized in appropriate order, so spoilers. This is after they bring Ursa back home, and there's still a lot of strife, still a lot of uprising in The Promise. We dealt with a lot of the ramifications of war and people not liking the new reign and a lot of issues, and this continues that on. There is a sect of people that are not happy with Zuko as ruler and want to reinstate Ozai as their ruler. Because of that, there's a lot going on. Along with that, there's this side thing happening with Mei and her family. She is a big character in this, which was phenomenal because I loved Mei in the original series, and she is amazing in this. Also, this is probably the graphic novel with the best artwork so far, in my opinion. The different fight scenes that happen are really beautiful, the way that they're portrayed. It's the same style of artwork, but I just feel like this is where it's really showcased incredibly so far. I think I'm gonna give this one probably 4.5. I enjoyed it more than The Promise. Yeah, but still not as much as The Search. 4.5 feels right. Okay, detailed summaries of these books. I already recorded this one, so cut to that. The Rift. This is the one that I gave 3 stars. This is my least favorite of the 3, but I still enjoyed it. I'm still glad I read it. I still can't wait to keep reading. So there's a banquet, there's a celebration. Team Avatar is going to go celebrate, but then Aang sees one of his past states, one of his previous airbender states. She leads him away from the banquet and tries to talk to him, but Aang can't hear her. He can't communicate with her. So he decides to go back to perform a ceremony that he used to perform with the other nomads. He takes Team Avatar with him minus Zuko, as well as this fan club that we met in The Promise that I didn't mention because I didn't care that much. But he takes a few of the members of Aang's fan club as well. They want to learn the air nomad lifestyle, even though they themselves aren't airbenders or air nomads. They just want to learn it, you know? Anyway, this is a sacred ritual of the air nomads, a sacred land. Yeah, sacred land. So the first thing is that they go to this statue and they bow to it. Aang doesn't know who the statue is or why they're bowing. It's just part of the tradition. He actually always skipped out on this particular lesson of his history because he was too busy playing. Anyway, he doesn't really know the history of this custom. He just knows it's a part of their customs and he wants to do it to help connect himself to that avatar state. The thing is, Toph is a little bit triggered by all this because Toph had a really bad upbringing. She was constantly suppressed, ignored, and be told not to be herself. She just had to be the prim, proper, demure girl that they wanted their daughter to be, and they didn't care who she wanted to be. So when Aang says, I don't know why we do this, it's just the way it's done, it immediately reminds Toph of constantly hearing the words, it's just the way it's done, Toph, her entire life when she doesn't want to be the daughter that they are trying to force her to be. So she acts out. She is resistant and rude and insulting because she's a kid and she doesn't know how to process these emotions so well, so that's the way she reacts. And it hurts Aang, but he is trying to take the higher ground and he just continues to try to teach these fan club student kids his air nomad ways. Then they need to go have a picnic in a sacred meadow. But this meadow area has been turned into a city or a town, and they've built on this place that was very important to Aang's culture. This is where we get to see the cabbage merchant again. He now has a restaurant all about cabbages, and he is not pleased to see Aang. Anyway, I'm gonna back up a little bit before they actually start, before they get to where they meet the cabbage merchant. They find this factory that has been built again in a sacred area, and they are uniting benders. Earthbenders, waterbenders, firebenders are all working together to collect these gemstones. Toph has a really weird romantic connection with a kid who looks a lot older than him. I actually initially thought he was an adult, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume he's a teenager, even though it's never actually stated. And I still feel uncomfortable about it because at this point, Toph, I think it is 13 tops. And that kid, I don't know. I don't like it. It's weird. I don't know their ages, so maybe it's not as weird as I think it is, but they look like they should not have a romantic connection. But anyway, Aang is not pleased about this factory being in this location, but nobody's listening to him because this guy is all about Toph. Back to the cabbage merchant shop. So Aang connects with his previous avatar state now again. And she explains to him that when he broke off his connection to the fire part of the avatar cycle, he broke his connection with everybody. So he had to perform this ritual in order to get closer to his spiritual state, but his spiritual state is broken right now. And she also explains to him that back in her day, there was this issue with some spirits. Here's the backstory on the spirits. There was this beautiful spirit who was really beautiful. That's kind of her whole niche. She was super beautiful. She made the world beautiful. And then these humans moved in and started building up a civilization for themselves. She was infatuated with them. Her friend, who was her protector, didn't like the humans, wanted them gone, didn't like that she was infatuated with humans either. He wanted to kill them all. She didn't let him kill them all. He was convinced that her being interested in the humans was going to lead to her demise. They got into a fight. He left. Their friendship remained intact, but they never saw each other again until he realized that she died. And when he came back to deal with the fact that she's dead now, one person, the king of this society, said, it was my fault. So he's gonna kill all the humans. But this avatar convinced this spirit that as long as they keep this ground sacred and they don't build on it, he won't kill them all. She's proving that humans aren't exclusively destructive, that they can honor the spirits and what the spirits want. And that was kept up for a long time. She made this statue of his friend that they all honored, that they had a ceremony wrapped around, and it went well for a while. But then the traditions died out. Then a city was built on it. Then his spirit was disturbed, which we'll deal with in a minute. Now he's back to kill everyone. And Aang wants to figure out if there's a way to make peace again, because this is a bad thing. He doesn't want everyone to die. So that's what Aang learns when he finally connects with his previous avatar state. Back to what's happening over at the factory. Toph and her new weird connection guy are having some conflict because they go back to the factory and, oh no, the person who's running the factory isn't this kid, he's just been left in charge of it, but now the people who actually run it are back. It's one Fire Nation guy and one Earth Nation guy. Care to take a guess at who the Earth Nation guy is? It's her father. He's super mean to her as soon as they get to talk. She stands up to him and then storms out. Sokka and Katara find a mine underneath that's causing all these earthquakes. By the way, there have been earthquakes. This mine is actually super unstable, super dangerous, but these people are working in the mines because they don't have a choice, because they don't have any money, and they're salvaging iron from this mine. But Sokka and Katara realize this place is about to collapse. This is what's causing the earthquakes. This is a really unstable place, and everybody's gonna die down here. All these workers are gonna die. And also some of these workers are people from Katara and Sokka's tribe, because their tribe has not been going well since Katara and Sokka left. So they had to leave and come here to work in these mines, which are really dangerous. So Sokka and Katara are trying to get everybody out, but the Fire Nation guy is not cool with that. And he's like, nope, you're gonna keep working because I said so. A fight breaks out because people are stupid. One of the supports breaks and the mine caves in, and only a couple of people make it out before the mine collapses. Is everybody dead? No, because Toph is amazing. We have a great scene right here where Toph's dad comes to her and realizes that he's really messed up with his daughter, explains how he got where he is, and apologizes to her. And oh, I love this moment for Toph, because it's just a moment of, I know who I am, I know my own worth, it's time for you to figure it out. I love Toph in this moment. I'm gonna take a second for a Sokka appreciation moment. Sokka's amazing in this graphic novel. He's great in all of these, but Sokka is one of my favorite characters, and he really shines in this one. I mean, he really shone in the last one too. I love Sokka. Anyway, he's hilarious in these graphic novels. We do not miss out on the Sokka humor. We have several scenes of him cracking me up, just being typical amazing Sokka. But then we also get to see him as the idea man and a great leader. When the mine collapses and Toph is holding it up, Aang can't help them with his earthbending, because the only reason Toph is holding this up is because of her metal bending, because of the iron and ore that are in this mine. So Sokka runs back to Toph's metal bending school, which is not too far away, gets her metal bending students, brings them back, and they're the reason that they're able to get out of the mine by digging up all this iron and ore. And it turns out that this iron and ore that they've been mining, they've been salvaging, is the reason that spirit was woken up, because this is his armor, and he realizes that this whole area has been disturbed massively. So he comes in to kill everyone. The bad guy makes the typical bad choices. Some people are put in danger because of it. Aang tries to negotiate with this spirit, but the spirit won't have it. I need to back up a little bit and explain that there's been a lot of conflict between Aang and Toph throughout this whole thing, because Aang wants to peacefully resolve everything and Toph wants to fight her way through everything. Multiple times Team Avatar is attacked and they're trying to kill Team Avatar, and Toph just wants to knock them all out, maybe kill them if she needs to. And Aang is constantly in conflict with her, reminding her that we disarm, we don't harm. Toph is not having it. These people are trying to kill them. She wants to defend her friends, not just disarm them, but actually hurt them back. So their basic philosophies on how to handle situations of conflict are a big issue throughout this entire graphic novel. This all comes to a head when they're facing off against this giant spirit that wants to wipe out humanity. And Toph just wants to kill him. They peel back this spirit's armor so that he's vulnerable, and Toph tries to strike a killing blow, but Aang does not want this. He just wants to talk through and reason with this spirit. The spirit then tries to kill Toph. Aang defends her, and in the process accidentally does kill the spirit. Aang feels terrible about this. This is not the way he wants to handle situations, but he also wants to protect his friends. Aang does reconnect with the fire side of his avatar cycle, which gives him the ability to connect with spirits better again. He does end up talking with the beautiful spirit from the story that his previous avatar state told him about, and she explains her side of the story. Yes, she was infatuated with humans, and yes, this did cause a divide between her and her friend, but she realized the beauty in humans. It wasn't just an interest in these other creatures. She saw that they did more than just exist in their own way. They built and created and did something beautiful with the world around them. She fell in love with their ability to create new things, and she decided to take on human form to visit with them. She fell in love with the human and decided to keep her mortal state forever, make it permanent. She married the king of this colony, of this society, and eventually she did die. And when her friend felt her death and came back to find out what happened, her husband took responsibility and said, yeah, it was my fault. I killed her. And that's not true, but he felt responsible. He felt that it was his fault that she died because she chose mortality for him. But what her husband didn't realize was that she's still not mortal, even though she took on mortality, even though she took on mortality. When she died, she just returned to her spirit state. She loves and appreciates her friend that is trying to defend her, but she truly believes that he's wrong. Keeping the space sacred is fine and good, but she wants the humans to build and create. She loves that about them, and she doesn't want to have to destroy this factory, to destroy this city. She wants these humans to grow and to flourish. So basically, Aang realizes that the guardian spirit was wrong the whole time, and what he was fighting for wasn't even what his friend wanted. Aang reinstated the ceremonies that they used to have in honor of this beautiful spirit, but they've changed them now. They've grown it so that it involves more people and is more of a celebration. I still really, really enjoyed this one. I didn't think that the backstory of the spirit that we got was extremely interesting, and I didn't think that the story that was happening in current time with the factory was extremely interesting either. It was all fine. I enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed retelling it more than I enjoyed reading it. I'm excited to keep going. I definitely don't have any negative feelings toward it. I wasn't as into this plotline as I had been the other two. So Smoke and Bone, let's summarize this now, as well as kind of chat about what I liked, what I didn't like. This book starts off where we're bringing Ursa home. We're bringing her back to the kingdom. A few weeks have passed between the search and this, and I guess the rift happened in that time. Zuko was searching in the Forgotten Forest, the Forest of Forgetfulness. He was searching where they lost Azula in the search. He was searching for her for weeks and was never able to find her. So now they're bringing Ursa and her husband and daughter home back to the Fire Kingdom, and they're gonna live with Zuko. Ursa is very protective of her daughter, and her daughter is also not interested in any kind of interaction with Ursa. Her face has changed back, and she doesn't know her mom this way, and she doesn't like it. However, her and Zuko are still very close, and she has a great attachment to him, which is very, very sweet. Mei and Zuko apparently broke up. They were together in the promise, and now they're not. And we're not really given any context for this, which is unfortunate. We didn't see the breakup. We didn't know about it until we're here and she's dating someone new. We do get an answer later on that apparently he just pushed her away and broke her heart again. It's not really much of an answer, and I don't really know what to do with that. I really wish we had better context for this, but I guess we can fill in the blanks and just assume that he was busy, he was looking for his mom, he was running the kingdom and just never really gave her any time, and they split. That's all I got for you. So now there's this uprising happening. There's this group of people that want to dethrone Zuko and put Ozai back on the throne. Mei is dating one of the guys in this group, and she enlists Ty Lee to meet up with him so that he can give them information because he feels bad about it and he wants to help them defeat this group that he's a part of. So he gives them information on when this group is going to ambush, and it turns out that it's false information and they get ambushed anyway. Again, artwork unbelievable in this particular graphic novel. All of the action scenes are just above and beyond phenomenal. Mei is also incredible. We already know Mei and Ty Lee and Azula are all phenomenal fighters. We already know that Mei and Ty Lee are a force to be reckoned with, but you know, I just love Mei so much. I have always loved Mei, and I'm so happy that she got so much page time. So she's incredible. She is a force to be reckoned with even still, but also she's having similar struggles to what Zuko has been dealing with in previous graphic novels, in that her dad's not cool, and he is the one leading this group that are trying to dethrone Zuko, and he's also manipulating her, and he convinces her to let him go and to lie about it, which is just great parenting happening in this one, or in this show in general. Parents suck. At least Katara and Sokka seem to still have a good dad. We'll see. He'll be in the next graphic novel. Oh, also, Iroh gets to have a bigger role in this graphic novel. Still not a huge role, but a bigger role. He gets some great scenes, and he's still the Iroh that we know and love. He's still the incredibly wise, but also ridiculously hilarious character, and carefree, and just wonderful, happy Iroh. Oh, also, he is an excellent fighter in this too. He's everything. He's everything that anyone would ever need him to be still. Like I said, there is a love triangle. The guy that Mei has been dating, it turns out that he was fed bad information that he fed to her, but like, he's honest, he's good, we like him, he's great. So she's still dating him. She's still mad at Zuko for breaking her heart vaguely. But Zuko wants her back because of course he does. And after watching Korra, I realized that these writers just love love triangles. And honestly, I'm just thankful that they saved us from that in the original Avatar series. I will say that this love triangle really wasn't handled terribly. It was fine. So Mei and her honey have some chemistry, some flirting. They're happy for each other. Zuko wants her back. She loves Zuko still, but she's decided to stay with her honey because Zuko has now broken her heart twice, and she's not interested in continuing to trust him with her heart. So she's gonna go with a guy who seems to like her more than she likes him, so she feels good that her heart won't be broken this time. Honestly, I get it. I get where she's coming from. So what's happening with this secret society? What's happening is that they are meeting up with these creatures that are telling them what to do. And these creatures, Mei sees when they steal Tom Tom from his bed at night. She sees them and she determines that they are the mythical creatures that her parents told her about. These spirits that will steal children from their beds if they're naughty. Yeah. So Mei says, hey, it's them. It's these spirits that steal children from their beds at night if they don't behave well. And her mom explains, these creatures aren't real. That's just a story I told you to build your character. Everybody's parents do it. I just want to throw out there, as a mom of a 3-year-old who is currently terrified of monsters, and every single night we have to go through me encouraging him and explaining to him that, you know, monsters aren't real, they're not gonna hurt you, you're safe at night, and trying to comfort him and help him process through these feelings that he's having. I can't imagine telling him, instilling fear in him so that he'll be good. What kind of parenting is that? Anyway, this becomes a thing. These spirits, these creatures, are meeting up with this task force with Mei's dad and all of the people that he's leading, and they're telling Mei's dad what to do. So because of their instruction, they are rebelling, they're starting riots, they're creating an uprising and unrest, and trying to get everybody to hate Zuko. In the meantime, these spirits are stealing children from their beds at night, I guess to continue the unrest, to make parents feel like Zuko's not doing enough. So Zuko doesn't handle it well. He does try, but he more reacts in fear and doesn't take the advice of the people around him, and ends up not being around, and then also instating a curfew and taking away the freedoms of the people. Turns out it was Azula. She and some of the other girls from the mental asylum that she broke free, they are dressing up as these spirits. They are stealing the children and putting them in a hole in the wall, kind of taking care of them. And as I said, ordering unrest, ordering the Mei's dad to cause unrest amongst the kingdom. The Kyoshi warriors and team go off and do some investigating. They find out where the hideout is. They free the children. Well, actually, Zuko's sister is the cutest ever, and she reenacts some of the movements she's seen Zuko do, trying to be brave like him. Turns out she can firebend. That reveal is a little to me, but it was cute. The kids break free, more phenomenal artwork for the fight scenes that happen. And it turns out that this whole time, the reason Azula was doing all this was not to get put on the throne, like in The Search. No, she's found a new goal. She's realized there's no way she's going to be Fire Lord. So instead, her goal is to mess with Zuko until he becomes the type of Fire Lord that she wants him to be. So she's been causing all this unrest in the kingdom intentionally to make Zuko scared and make him react out of fear and make him turn into a tyrant instead of a peaceful leader, and prove to him that he really isn't as good as he's been pretending to be. Actually, he's just like the rest of the family, and when you bring him back down to his core human self, he is a tyrant just like the rest of them, and he just needs to embrace that side of himself. And she exposed to him that he actually is a terrible leader. Once again, typical Azula nature, messing with her brother's head to try to manipulate him and to destroy him. And I'm sure we'll find in the next volume that it worked, because Zuko is still constantly having inner turmoil, truly choosing to be a good man, but constantly struggling with what's the right choice, what should I be doing, which voices should I be listening to. And this time Azula won out, and the graphic novel ends with Zuko apologizing to his kingdom, admitting that he handled it wrong, that he was not acting in wisdom, but out of fear. And, it was a really humble move, but I'm excited to see where we go next, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of repercussions for the mental gymnastics that Azula did on him. I really enjoyed this because I thought that it was a really interesting story. The mystery of it all was great. The reveal was fantastic. Like I said, the artwork in this it really outdid itself. It outdid previous volumes. And I'm really enjoying this arc for Azula so far, how she's just trying to undermine Zuko. She seems to be the main bad guy, the main antagonist that we're dealing with in this series. And so far, I'm liking the way that it's handled. I'm hoping to get more from her soon, but so far, I've still really been enjoying it. I'm still loving Zuko. I, again, love that he's not done dealing with his inner turmoil. I love that it's very realistic, that he is trusting and listening to Aang and to Iroh, and a lot of the time his instincts are right. A lot of the time what he chooses to do is correct, but sometimes it's wrong too. And I like that there's a lot of back and forth with him. I like that there's a lot of trial and error. I think that Zuko is one of the best examples of a human being a human that I've seen portrayed on film or in media, and that I've read. Just in general, his layers and his constant failings and successes and inner turmoil. He's a character that I love more than probably most characters that I've read or seen. because I love how real his struggles are and how much he's really working to leave his past behind him, while also dealing with the reality that in order to leave his past behind him, he's leaving his family in large part behind him too. Not his mom and like this new family that he's found, but his old family that he grew up with. And that's not easy for him to do, and I appreciate that. I also loved this graphic novel for the amount of Iroh we got, as well as the amount of Mei we got. Mei was a layered character. We got a lot of emotion out of her. We got a lot more from her than I was expecting to get. She is still a strong woman, and she's also a lot more vulnerable in this than I've seen from her in the past. We get growth from her, we get so much, and we didn't get a resolution on the triangle other than Mei and her boyfriend broke up. We don't know what's gonna happen between Mei and Zuko. I think I know, but it was great. We also got some great growth from Ursa. She started off terrified. This whole beginning of the graphic novel, she was overprotective of her daughter. She was so scared of losing her, and we slowly realized that the fear is coming from going back home to Ozai, who told her that if he ever sees her again, he's not only going to kill her, but he's going to destroy her whole family and everything she's ever loved. And as a very abusive husband, she is still afraid of him and believes him. And now that she's back in his kingdom, where he's still alive and imprisoned, she's afraid of the power that he has and afraid of her family being hurt. This graphic novel ends, which I forgot to mention, with her facing her fears and going to Ozai in his prison cell. And while he continues to try to gaslight her and manipulate her and be abusive to her, she stands up to him and refuses to take it, knocks him down, not physically, and comes out having faced her fears and being stronger because of it. I loved that arc for Ursa. In general, this isn't my favorite one yet. I've read 4 now. I would say it's my second favorite. Still, The Search is my number 1, but I really, really enjoyed this. I loved having the full crew. I loved, again, peeling back more layers of Zuko. I enjoyed having Azula back. I liked the development that we got from Ursa, and I loved getting more from these side characters that I truly, truly love. It was a really good one. I liked it a lot. I still highly recommend all of these graphic novels if you can get your hands on them, and if not, we'll keep summarizing them and talking about them. So there you go, that's this video of the summary review. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I will continue making them, hopefully. I post videos every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.